Matt Stepdad Campbell's Texas Football back here at the 90th Annual Texas High School Coaches Association and Convention, here with the head coach of those Arlington Bowie Volunteers, Coach Joseph Sam. Coach Sam, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Same here, brother. Always good to see you.
My voice is struggling a little bit. I had a good time last night at the Black Coaches Association Social. It was such a good time. We were both there at the same place, and I didn't see you because it was so crowded.
Well, it was a great time of fellowship and networking. We just gonna make sure we keep it at that.
It was a great time of fellowship and networking. It was some good food. I saw some of the food that some of the guys had.
Yeah.
It was some good grub going on too.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't eat it because that line was so long. I was like,
it was a long line.
I'm going to Whataburger before I do
that's exactly what I did too. I went to Whataburger before I had a full stomach when I got there, so we were good. The convention is always, it means football season is here. It means the start of the season. You get to see some old buddies.
Yeah.
We saw Coach Rodriguez there at Elsick. One of the guys you hired there at Hightower is now a head coach. How proud are you to start seeing some guys that you've hired when you became a young head coach starting to move up in the world and become head coaches? It's kind of the paying it forward, because you had guys, I'm sure, when you were a young coach who mentored you and helped you along the way.
Yeah, I had guys like Randy Jackson, Rodney Webb, Cody Groves, Chris Milson that groomed me. And when I became a head coach, I was like, well, I don't want to just get this job and just, it's just me doing it and taking it on. I was like, well, if they groom me, it's just my responsibility to groom those guys. Yeah. And, guys like Shea Rodriguez, Kentron Pinson, William Blaylock, and some others that have become coordinators. It's just glad to see that the fruits of the labor that we did as a staff at Hightower did not only pay off for those kids, but it's also paid off for the coaches as well.
And I know you're hoping to do the same thing at Bowie. You're heading into year two, and I feel like in year two, I want to ask you, how far ahead are the kids and the coaches ahead of the curve this year compared to last year? Just knowing each other and knowing what to expect in the system itself.
I would say the difference between last year and this year is everybody knows what the expectation is now. Last year, I just think we were hit with me being a late hire. It was just a bad case of newness.
Yeah.
I don't think it was anybody's fault. We got to own who we were last year.
You don't run from it. I mean, you're like, hey, coach, I was 2-7 last year. You don't run from it.
But but you take it as, okay, it's the kids are hungry, the coaching staff's hungry. It's kind of, let's run it back and let's see what we can do.
How excited are you to get the pads on and get going here in a few weeks? I mean, you got to be chomping at the bit, because I know it does that record. You've been around successful programs. I know it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. How fired up are you to strap it on and get ready for the season?
It makes you extremely fired up, because you knew what you could have been last year, and you see what you can be. Mm-hmm. Now let's
the potential is there, right?
Yeah. So we know where we are. Where we were, we know where we're going. Now it's like, let's show everybody what we feel like we are.
But in your district, I mean, we know Arlington ISD football, very good top to bottom. A lot of good football teams in that district. You throw in Grand Prairie and South Grand Prairie. Yeah. It's a good district. You guys are going to be, and I'm sure you guys have harped on this with your kids week in and week out. We can't look ahead. We can't look past anyone in this district. We got to come to play right now, because the team in front of us, if we don't play good, they're capable of beating us. That's got to make you excited as a competitor that you're going up against quality coaching and quality opponents.
Absolutely. We got great rivals, and every Arlington school, there's kind of a little bit of a rivalry. Naturally our rival is Sam Houston, so that game's always a good game.
Always a big game.
And then Martin is kind of butted into a rivalry back with the days of Wager and Kenny Perry. So it's just kind of
a couple of characters there. There's a couple of characters.
It's kind of naturally evolved into some natural rivalries. And then you have an SGP and Grand Prairie, which, they're your next door neighbors. So it's a lot of backyard brawls going on, and it makes for – and you got hell of a coaches in the district. Yeah. So it's a great situation.
When you look at your ball club for 2022, what are the strengths going to be for the Bowie Vols, and what are some areas maybe you're still looking for some young guys to grow up and grab those varsity starting spots?
Well, I would say our strength will be offensive skill. We returned every offensive skill player from last year. I think that's going to be a great strength for us. I also think defensively, probably the linebacking core and safeties will probably be our two biggest strengths. I would say the only thing that we're probably missing is that we're going to need some guys to grow up and supply depth for us. I think that may be our only Achilles heel going into the year, where it's like, okay, we got a glaring issue that we got to fix.
Yeah.
And we have some young guys that we're grooming, but at the same time, we got to, you never know until the pads are on if
they're still young. Yeah, you don't know until you may throw. I mean, but you're not afraid. You may throw them in the fire early and see what they can see if they can throw them in the deep water and see if they can swim. Right.
Hey, sometimes you got to do that.
There you go. Final question for you. When you look, you're part of. You moved back to. You're a Metroplex guy. You moved back up from Houston. You're in the Arlington area there at Bowie. Where's your go-to spot to eat at around campus? Where's your go-to?
What? My number one spot is Damien's.
Damien's, okay.
Damien's and TJ's Catfish.
Okay.
They're like 1A and 1B.
Okay. Obviously, TJ's Catfish, fried catfish, is the go-to there.
Yeah.
What's your go-to at Damien's? What's the Coach Sam special?
The oxtails and the greens.
Oxtails and greens.
Oxtails and greens, baby.
Okay. All right. There you go. There's Joe Sam, the head coach of Arlington Bowie Volunteers. Coach, we appreciate your time as always. Congrats I'll say good luck on in 2022 season.
Yeah.
And we appreciate what you do for student athletes in the state of Texas.
I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks,
always.
Coach.